Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Join hosts Dan Melnick and Qasim Masood as they explore big ideas, limitless possibilities, and engage with visionaries, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders who dare to dream big, get inspired, motivated, and find practical tips for personal growth. Think big, dream bigger, and ignite your potential.
All right, welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. And if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us where you live and what you do for a living.
Lovely. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Em, also known as EMZILLASTROVE, and I am an artist and craftsman. I just sell all my creations online, and I'm based in the UK.
Awesome. So can you just tell us more about those creations, really just how you got into this business in the first place?
So it's quite funny, actually. In the pandemic, during the pandemic, I got involved in doing resin stuff just because I saw it online and was like, oh, that looks really cool. And then about halfway through the pandemic, I actually lost my job because they weren't really respecting of just health measures. It was terrible. So I basically just threw all of my energy and passion into doing the resin, and it's just spiraled from there, really. It's crazy. It started off as a hobby and now it's a full-time job.
Can you just talk about more exactly like what you're selling and like who your ideal customer? I think that many people don't have like a full understanding of what it is. So if you can just go more into detail about that.
Sure. So I make anything and everything, mostly jewelry, but I also make home decor pieces such as dioramas and things like that, trinket trays. You think it, I do it, I do stickers, illustrated stuff like that. And my audience and customer base really just come from loads of different walks of life. I have people in the LGBTQ plus community, all the way to elderly people who have just always been artsy and crafty their whole life, and they just wanted, a statement piece of jewelry that is just really different and one of a kind. So yeah, it's really nice. I deal with men, I deal with women, I deal with people in between. And it's just really inspiring that so many different people like what I do.
But in terms of like your products, or you're mentioning it's different types of jewelry. So is it customized, or do you just like in your mind say, okay, I'm going to make this product, and then hopefully like this is ideally who it's for, and then they come and find it and buy it? Like, what does that process look like?
So it is a case of I basically just make what I like and what I'm inspired by. But I do offer custom stuff too. When I first started doing this, I was experimenting with loads of different things, throw things at the walls, see what sticks. And in time, I've basically been able to create one of a kind pieces, such as, one-off trays, as well as necklaces, such as I have these little DNA charms, and in between each of the ladder rungs is like color, like resin for different pride flags. But I've had people have ask me for different colors and stuff. So I kind of blend the two, and people are more than welcome to message me, and we can create something up together. And that happens quite a lot, and I absolutely love it. When somebody goes, oh, I love this, but it's not perfect, and I'm like, okay, let's make it perfect, let's make it work.
Makes sense. So where are you selling it mostly? Do you have like your own Shopify website? Is it eBay? Like, where are you finding most of your customers?
It is on Etsy. I have wanted to do my own website, but the traffic just isn't there, sadly. Etsy kind of had me bent over a barrel. Like, their traffic is, I don't have a big brand name of 10 plus years, so of course I benefit from their traffic more than anything. But hopefully in time that's not always going to be the case. And I'll be reaching 4 years in February with my business, so it's still relatively early days. So I'd like to see in the future, I'll have my own website and bring my own traffic myself.
But do you like promote it, for example, on like other platforms? Like, obviously like you have Etsy, but Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, like do you like other channels where you're promoting your products?
Yes. So I do have Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, and since the last few months, I've also got a Blue Sky account and a Threads account, but I'm still not 100% sure on those. Like, managing 5 social media accounts and more just is a little bit draining. But I mostly get all my custom mainly from Instagram and Twitter. I I primarily love Twitter the most, arguably less so in the last few months since Twitter X and memberships has all come about. But I find you can have better relationships with communities on platforms such as those. And, there's one thing selling your stuff, but then to be part of a community and be loved by that community, that's just on a whole different level.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I think just social media in general that it has this kind of negative perception, but to your point, there is a lot of positivity out there. I think that, many people don't realize that you can find communities, build communities. There's a lot of potential. So in terms of your business, what would you say is the biggest challenge that you face today?
I think the biggest challenge is managing myself as a creative and then also as a professional. And what I mean by that is every day I'm making stuff, I'm always being creative, but then I also have to, I have to be online all the time. I have to always be promoting myself. I have to always be videoing what I'm doing. And that's fine. But after a while, it is quite draining. It leads to burnout quite quick. And trying to manage that, I think, is the hardest thing. It's the biggest challenge, trying to find balance out of such a messy online landscape and screaming into the void, but managing 1,000,001 different jobs. But you kind of learn as you're young, really. You learn to better.
But do you have, like, for example, people that work with you or work for you, or you're just like a one-person show?
Yeah, I'm just a one-person show. Yeah, so I cannot afford to have someone else. I mean, having an extra pair of hands is invaluable, sure. But not everybody has that privilege, sadly. But so yeah, me doing everything from making products, admin, customer service, graphic design, illustration, you name it. Like it gets a lot. Yeah.
Makes sense. So what would you say is like your vision, right? Obviously, you mentioned that you want to grow, that you want to have like your own website, but in terms of like scalability, revenue, for example, like what kind of like monthly revenue would you really like be aspiring to get to in 2024?
I mean, I'd love to make as much as possible from it. A target that is easy to reach is like last year was much better than it was this year. And this time last year, I was making about, 3 to 4K in revenue. And if I could get that in the end every month consistently, that would be incredible, or even not that much. I think getting to a point where it is consistent and I can, relax a little bit and breathe a little bit would be amazing. And being able to have that income that I have to sink into different things. So, I mean, like, I don't have social media ads going at the moment because of the expense. So things like that would be amazing to eventually go into, becoming more professional as a marketer. And then in turn as well, I'd love to be able to make more professional products and just have a better professional feel, getting professional packaging, you name it. So the brand just feels really cohesive. And as well, when people open up their packaging, it's a whole experience for them. Like it just, that would be amazing.
Makes sense. But like as of now, I guess, like where are most of your customers located? Are they in the UK, in the US? Like where do you find most of your customers?
Funny enough, it is the US. I don't know why exactly, but I've always found that since I've started, I have had just so many loyal US customers, and I get custom requests from people all over the United States. I think I've only got like 2 states left, like that don't have my goodies in. So whereas
What are
the
those
UK,
two states? What are those two states?
I think it's like Idaho, and I can't remember the other one, but like it's so funny. Like pretty much, oh, Alaska. That's the
Alaska,
last
okay.
one. Yeah,
It's a huge state size-wise, but the population is very small. So yeah.
yeah, exactly. But we'll get there
Yeah,
eventually.
yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it's been US first, then the UK, and then kind of straggly little bits across Europe. I've had a few customs in like Japan and Australia, but such a stark contrast in terms of time difference. And then with Asian countries as well, like there's that language barrier too. So it makes sense that I haven't been able to reach them as much.
So can you just talk, I'm just curious, right? So obviously, you're in a very competitive space, e-commerce, lots of people selling different things, but like what separates you from your competition?
Well, I think everybody's gonna say that, like everybody says that they are different, but like my stuff is is very different. Like I don't really work towards trends, which is not to my benefit. I should be hitting trends and stuff, but I make things that reflect my personality, my interests, and who I am as a person. So if you look on my site or look through my product catalog, it's all very colorful, it's vibrant, and it's not this very cold and clinical kind of brand that a lot of people go for, the very kitsch, white, neutral tones, blends in with everything, where I'm like, no, I want color on this, I want color on that, I want something different. And as well, like, I take pride in the products that I have that aren't just one-off things, that are like my DNA. That's like one of my best sellers. It's been part of my business for years now. You cannot get them anywhere else. They are an EMZILLA original, and I take great pride in trying to find products and create products that are really different, because everybody could copy everyone else, and there's no fun in that at all.
Makes sense. So do you have, for example, like a lot of repeat customers?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I actually, it was really lovely this morning. I got a message and a tag on a Twitter and Blue Sky post by one of my regulars, and she put out all of the DNA that she's got from me, and it was just such a lovely collection and so sweet. And I have quite a few people that just come back and over and over and over again, and they've got this little collection of my stuff, which is just, I don't know, it's really inspiring, it's really heartwarming, and it makes you feel just quite special, I think.
That's awesome. So I guess like going back to your like goals, right? So like, what would you say is the biggest thing that's preventing you from reaching that goal you mentioned, like 3-4K a month consistently? Like, what do you think is that biggest, hurdle there for you?
I think the biggest hurdle for myself, and I think for pretty much every business and creative I see online, is the anti-brand algorithm. It's very difficult now compared to a few years ago to kind of build a following organically online. All algorithms now, if they get a whiff that you're trying to sell something, they suppress you because they want you to pay for ads. But obviously not everybody has that financial privilege to pay for ads. So you kind of get left at this awkward catch-22 of, well, I need to reach more people to make more money, but I need to spend money on ads to reach more people. So what do you really do? So it's trying to work around that. But obviously it's such a challenge. So yeah, it's the algorithms and just this kind of heavy focus on ads that we have on the internet at the moment. It's quite sad, sorry state of affairs.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like on all these platforms, to your point, it's very hard to grow like organically, especially when it comes to commerce, because you do have a lot of competition. You have a lot of these large companies that are spending, literally millions of dollars. So it's very difficult to compete. What would you say is like the one biggest piece of advice that you wish you knew before you started this company?
Don't operate as a business, and operate as a business in terms of be professional, don't break copyright laws, stuff like that, but draw away from the hard sells. Yes, you need to make money and you're desperate to sell products, but first and foremost, you need to reach people and build a community, build confidence in customers, build that brand awareness, and then things will kind of flow from there. I think, myself included, and a lot of people I know, we get too focused on the result that we want, and we don't look at the actual stages of getting there. So now recently I have drawn away from doing the hard sells, doing the link in bio, here's a link, buy this, because one, people don't like hard sells, and two, the algorithm doesn't either. So you don't really do yourself any favors. So just, people first, and then the profits will come, naturally from there.
Makes sense. So if somebody watching this wanted to reach out to you, do you mind sharing your website or social media handles, just best ways to get in contact with you?
Yeah, that would be amazing. So my handle on Etsy, Twitter, Instagram, you name it, I try and keep it all the same everywhere. It is EMZILLASTROVE. And basically just think of Godzilla, get rid of the God and put EM. So and one word, just EMZILLASTROVE, and put it in Etsy, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and you'll find me.
Sounds good. Awesome. Well, we're rooting for you, and thank you so much for your
Thanks.
time today.
No, thank you so much for having me. It's a wonderful opportunity, and I really wish you all the best.
Likewise. Thank you. All right.
Take
Bye.
care.